What is up, everybody? My name is Nick Aufenkamp with the Tartan Team, and this is entry number 1 in the Diary of a Real Estate Agent. And I realize that sounds so corny, and it's like, Nick, what the heck are you even doing? Who cares about what you do as a real estate agent? And honestly, I gotta say, that is a fair question. I don't know who cares, but you're watching this, so maybe you do. And why? Why am I doing this? Well, one, because I think there's a lot of mystery surrounding what the heck a real estate agent even does. There's a lot of misconceptions that real estate agents are super overpaid and they just do the easiest jobs, opening up doors for people, putting in offers, and then making buku money. Well, that's not exactly true. And I want to give you more insight to what it is that a good agent does so that you know what to look for when you're hiring somebody. And the second reason that I want to do this is because I am building a business from scratch called the Tartan Team. 2 months ago, the Tartan Team wasn't a thing. Today, it is a bona fide business. We had our first closing this past week, which I'm thrilled about. And I just think maybe this will be helpful, whether it's because you're looking to hire me. Maybe this will help you get a feel for who I am and whether or not I'd be a good fit as somebody to work with. Or maybe it's because you're a real estate agent and you're thinking about going out on your own and you're curious, what does that take? What does it look like to start building a team? So that's the point of this little vloggy diary thing. I don't even know if anybody vlogs anymore, but we're gonna give it a go. So let's go ahead and start the Tartan Team. What is the Tartan Team? Why? What am I doing? Well, let's start with the name. The Tartan Team comes from my father-in-law. My father-in-law he still does real estate a little bit. He's in his 70s now, but every now and again, when somebody comes to him with a deal, he'll still represent them. But back in the 90s, he started a brokerage called Tartan Realty. Now, tartan is not a word that we use a whole lot in the United States. It's much more like English, British. It's from Scotland, actually. And the tartan is like a plaid, but different clans were identified by the tartan that they had. I just think it has a great sound to it. I love the fact that it has a family connection with my father-in-law, who is Scottish, having had Tartan Realty. And the color schemes and everything just works so well in the Pacific Northwest. It's stately, it's classic, it's all the things that I'm going for in real estate. So, the Tartan Team. Now, why name it the Tartan Team and not like Aufenkamp Real Estate? One, because Aufenkamp is a German mouthful. That is so hard to see on a sign and pronounce, and everybody scratches their head when they see it. And number two is because I don't know what the future of the Tartan Team business is, but I want it to be as big and broad as possible. And I would love to work with other individuals and agents who have a similar sort of ethos and ethics and values that I do. But I think that I know that if I was being invited to join a team that I thought was pretty cool, I would much prefer for it to have a generic name rather than me joining onto a team that was somebody else's name. That feels a little bit funny to me. So the Tartan Team is named as such to keep it as broad and open as possible. So hopefully that makes sense. Family, and then to keep it broad, keep it open in hopes of growth in the future. Now, why in the world did I start a real estate business? For those of you who don't know, I spent my first couple years in real estate working for a builder in the world of new construction, a local builder in Clark County, amazing builder, an amazing experience, absolutely love them, so grateful for the time that I had there. But there's a handful of factors that were at play. I have this entrepreneurial itch that I had to scratch to go out and start building my own thing. The other piece is that when you're working for a builder, you're on an exclusive contract to only sell what that builder creates, which really limits then the number of people, not just the number, but the demographic, the kind of people that I can help, because they really have to be of a certain socioeconomic status, and they really have to want these very particular homes in very particular neighborhoods. Whereas by going out on my own, I can help anybody and everybody. Anybody who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I can help. And I love that. So I wanted that kind of freedom and broadening the clientele that I could work with. And then the third reason was I wanted to have more control over my time. Now, I was under no sort of false impressions that by going out on my own, I would be working less. And that's good, because it's been a little over a month now since I left the builder and started the Tartan Team. And I think I've taken one day off since starting over a month ago. And so I've put in a lot more hours than I did when I was working for a builder. But those hours have been so much more productive, and they've also been when I've been able to work them around my family. What does that mean? It means that I've been working a lot more in the nighttime after my kids go down, and in the mornings before my kids get up. But then during the day, we're homeschooling. And so if my wife needs to step out to run some errands for a couple hours, or she wants to go to the gym, or if there's a lesson that I can help the kids out with, well, I've got the freedom to flexibly arrange my schedule to say, yeah, I got time to be with the kids right now. I got time to go over to the park. And I love that kind of freedom. I love to be able to be present, to optimize my schedule, to be present for the most important things, both in my family and in business. Whereas when working for a builder, there's kind of a retail nature to it. And so whether I've got appointments or not, if it's a Saturday, I'm sitting in a model home, hoping that somebody shows up. And if they don't show up, well, that was my Saturday, waiting for people to come. And so anyway, this is just a better fit for me in that I do get to optimize my schedule. Downsides, though, are I don't have a marketing department. The marketing department for the Tartan Team is, hey, me. And so when it comes to finding people to work with, well, that's kind of my number one job. And, lo and behold, I don't think that there's any mystery about it. That's part of why I'm doing this, in hopes that, if I didn't do this, you wouldn't see me, and then you wouldn't know what I was doing or what I was up to, and you might not ever reach out. So I'm figuring out the whole marketing thing. Of course, I've got a lot of connections, having grown up here in Clark County. So I'm reaching out to old friends and old clients, people that I've worked with in the past, let them know about the career change. But the reality is that I've got to find people to work with. I've got to get the word out there about what it is that I'm doing and the value that I add. So that is a bit nerve-wracking. There's also just a lot of expenses that come with starting a business. There's all kinds of things related to getting an LLC set up. There's a lot of fees related to switching brokerages, to getting a website going, all of the other little things too, like the premium subscription to Canva and ChatGPT and those kinds of things that I find a lot of value in, but goodness, you can get $10 and $20 a month to death if you're not careful. So I've had a lot of upfront expenses related to the move. That's also kind of a downside. And if you're interested in a full breakdown of those, let me know, because that might be something that I'd be happy to share, especially if you're an agent who's thinking about building your own team. So there's some pros and cons. Maybe the last thing that I'll mention right now is, yes, the Tartan Team is the name of the business that I am starting, but it is not an official brokerage. So as a real estate agent, you have to hang your license, is what it's called, with a state-recognized brokerage. That's who I am accountable to, who's an authority over me. And I chose to hang my license with Real Brokerage. Real is, if you haven't heard of it, that's okay, but I promise you that apart from just this video, you're going to be hearing about Real a lot. They are the fastest growing brokerage in, I think, the world, certainly the United States. They just crossed over the 12,000 agent threshold. They just crossed over, I think it was like $300 million in revenue. But a lot of people think that they're on track like EXP or Keller Williams to, in the next 10 years become a $3 billion company with the way that they're attracting agents. And the reason that they're attracting agents is because their fees are really low. There's just no nonsense when it comes to the way that they've structured their brokerage fees. And then two, because they're all about agents being themselves and building a brand that really fits their own personality and identity, rather than taking on like a more legacy brokerage where you take on the branding and identity of that brokerage. So you're seeing a lot of content creators, a lot of the more cutting edge real estate agents throughout the United States making the switch over to Real, and that's exactly why I chose Real. I have some really good friends, Hannah Dubine and Jake Woolsey. You should definitely follow them if you aren't already, but they're the ones who were talking to me about how wonderful Real is. I looked into it myself, and after even checking out a few other brokerages who were great, but they just didn't have the same kind of ethos, drive, forward-thinking mindset that Real presented me with. So very excited to be with the folks at Real Brokerage, surrounded by people that make me think about how to continue elevating the real estate experience for my clients. So Tartan Team, talked about the name, talked about being with Real Brokerage, a few of the pros and cons, motivations behind why I made the move. Hopefully that's helpful, just at like a very high level. Okay, who is Nick? What's the Tartan Team? What's he doing? Why? And yes, that's it. That's why. In the next video, I think I'm gonna talk more about my first listing, what it's been like working with my first few clients, and kind of some of the things that I'm looking forward to in the future. In the meantime though, please do head over to thetartanteam.com. You can see the website that I'm building there. There's still more to come. It's kind of a work in progress, but there's all of my contact details there. And so if you do want to get in touch because you have questions about real estate, about Clark County, Washington, about buying or selling, or because you're a real estate agent looking to maybe do something like what I've done, well, my goodness, I would love to connect, and zero pressure for anything to come of it. Zero pressure is kind of my thing. I just love connecting with people. And if we're a good fit and if I can help you, man, let's make it happen. I would love to do that. So again, thetartanteam.com, or you can shoot me an email, nick@thetartanteam.com. But thank you for following along. Hopefully you found something of value, something helpful here, and I look forward to connecting with you, whatever that looks like, again, very soon.